Hey, hi there guys. This is Prophet from Monotheist. And welcome to this week's installment of where I go through some of our songs and teach you how to play a couple of riffs and explain the inspiration behind them. The song that we're going to be looking at today is Twilight of the Wolves, which as of this recording is our latest single, and it'll probably be on our next album. Let's jump in. What better riff to look at today than the first riff of the song, the first section I should say. Actually, there's two different guitar parts. One of the things I like to do is write guitar parts where the guitars are doing two completely different things, but they complement each other very well. And what I want to do is show you both parts, because to get the full effect, you should listen to both parts together. So we'll start with the part that I usually play live, and then I'll follow that with the second guitar part, and just follow the tabs below. And yeah, let's get on to it. Okay, so slowly it goes like this. Okay. Okay, so that was the first part. I want to show you the other part, the second part. It utilizes a lot of the same ideas where you're using a lot of open strings, but this second part actually uses more open strings, and there's a good amount of string skipping. All right, so let's check it out. So that was the first section of the song there. I was really inspired to write this about 10 years ago, and I was never able to find a place for it on Scourge or anything like that. But finally, when starting to write this album, I found a really great opportunity to write a song around this part. And it was actually really inspired by the band Deathspell Omega. I remember at the time I was listening to the album Paracletus, and on that album there's a couple of tracks, a couple of sections that are pretty melodic, which is a bit uncharacteristic of the band. A lot of their riffs tend to be very dissonant, but there's some cool melodic stuff, and it inspired me to write this part. Great band, great band. All right, so let me show you the next part of the song, which is the chorus. This part is very melodic. There's a very strong melody. So I'm going to show you the first part here, the part that I play usually live. I guess you can call it the lead part, and it's basically an octave based lead. So yeah, let me show you that. So what inspired me to write this section was the band Opeth, especially being a fan of their older stuff. I got into them maybe about 2002, 2003, around when Deliverance came out, and just blew me away. And they've been a huge influence on Monotheist since day one, basically. So yeah, you know, they would do a lot of that octave kind of stuff, a lot of octave leads, and yeah, that was a big inspiration for this. Their earlier stuff will always be close to my heart. They'll always be a really big influence in Monotheist. And with that said, let me show you the backing part, which is more traditional black metal with tremolo picking and stuff like that. But I think you'll see that some of the chords are a little bit interesting because they don't just stick to power chords, but there's like diminished chords and dominant chords as well. So yeah, let's check that out. right, and so the next part, the last part I want to talk about today is the section after the solo. There's this middle section that it's in a weird time. In my DAW, it's 21/8 time, but you know, you could count that however you want, subdivide it however it makes sense. Yeah, you know, these are the kind of parts that our drummer hates me for and hurls abuse at me for very often. So let me show you that. I'll show you the part that I usually play, the lead part. So this is one of the more strange riffs in the song. It starts off with this part's not very strange, but kind of like a kind of jazz chord. I'm not sure what you would call it. This kind of, you know, then it goes into like this descending diminished chord, like that. So it starts out that way, and then this next part is in like 21/8 time, and it starts out with basically like descending minor second. Right, it starts out with this using the open string. So this is the 6th fret on the B string, on the high B string, and then open E, like that. And then this is the what is it? This is the E flat here. So the 8th fret on the G string. Yeah, so starts out that way. Pretty ugly, huh? But then we get into this chord, which I use this a lot, especially in the newer stuff. You'll be hearing these kinds of chords a lot. This particular one, I like this. 5th fret on the G string, 4th fret on the high B, and 7th fret on the high E string. I'm not sure what this is. So this is like what, root, minor 3rd, and major 7th. But yeah, I like that one. It has kind of like a, I don't know, exotic, kind of mysterious, kind of dark quality. So yeah, it would be like. And then up here on the 12th fret, again that chord. But before that, yeah, 12th fret G string, 12th fret high B, 15th fret on the D string, and then I picked the open B, pick that, so it's like, and then 11th fret on the D string, and then to that chord, the nasty chord, the dark chord there, 13th fret on G, 12th fret on B, and 15th fret on high E. Right, so together it's yeah, so that's that lead part right there. All right, so that was the first part of the lead. Let me show you what's going on in the other guitar part, where it's just power chords, and that's subdivided into certain counts. That's the easiest way for me to keep on top of things and not lose my place counting. So let me show you that. Okay, so the part that goes on behind that lead is the power chord pattern that it just repeats itself basically, and it starts out palm muted, but then later on it's not palm muted. So it goes like this. So that's the first time around, and yeah, it's also in that weird time signature 21/8. But you could count it this way, like this is the way that it helps me. It's 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 4. And the second time, so you see it goes to that low B, the open B power chord there, and it'll repeat again but without palm muting. So it'll be like that. Yep. So after that lead part, then there is another lead part, which goes, if I go slowly, it'll go like this. That section, particularly that part, I really liked. I think it has a cool sound because as you notice, as the chords, the power chords, as they descend, that lead part actually goes upwards, right? It goes upwards like that. So I thought that's pretty cool. That's something I've been incorporating a lot more into the new stuff that we've been writing. I just think it has a really interesting sound, and it's probably more akin to something you'd hear in like movie soundtracks or something, you know, not something I hear too much in metal, but it's something that I like to incorporate. But the idea for this, like the concept behind having chord extensions played over these power chords, I actually took that from my favorite metal band right here, X-Toll. They would do that a lot, especially on the earlier albums. The two guitarists would basically do that. You know, one would play the power chords, and the other one would play the higher chord extensions. And it would produce such a cool and exotic sound, something I had never heard at that time, and it always really, really inspired me. So thanks guys for joining me today. You learned how to play a couple of riffs from Twilight of the Wolves. You learned a little bit about the inspiration behind these riffs and how they came together. So thank you for joining me on this week's edition of Beyond the Riffs. If you want me to cover any particular Monotheist songs, leave a comment below and I'll see what I can do. Alright guys? So, see you next time. Peace.